Make sure you don't miss a thing. Go to starzology.com/newsletter and sign up. Welcome to the Starzology Astrology Podcast. I am your host, Alison Price, and I'm here with my good friend and co-host, Arwynne O'Neill.
Hello, Alison. It's great to be here again.
Thanks so much for joining me once more. So in this episode, we're going to be looking at the midheaven signs.
Yeah.
So that basically means the sign on the midheaven.
Yeah.
And
or MC.
Or MC, indeed. Or what is it in Latin? Medium Coeli or something? Something like that.
Yeah.
And the idea is that the midheaven, for those who don't know, the midheaven is the point at the very top of the chart.
Yeah.
It's the highest point the sun reached on that day you were born, and that's why it's there.
Yeah.
We kind of like it. It's kind of important.
We love it, especially in the house system that we use, which is Placidus.
Yes.
Because it is always the 10th house cusp. If you're using a different house system, your mileage may vary.
And, well, we have this debate all the time. I had coffee with a friend last week, and she's an equal house person. I thought, it's like,
Yeah, it's like red state, blue state.
It is. Or I was going to say, like, state and religion or the church. Right. And, you think, really? You do that? You follow that? Anyway.
Yeah.
So as good Placidian house cusp people, we have the 10th house, the midheaven is the 10th house cusp.
Yeah.
And
which makes it almost equal in importance to the ascendant.
Yes.
It's very, very close second.
It's hugely important.
It's not in the Holy Trinity, but it is very.
No,
it is
not.
Very close.
I suppose it would be in the Holy Quadruplicity, perhaps. Ascendant, Sun, Moon, midheaven.
Yeah.
That would be something to think about.
Yeah, for sure.
We can stretch it any way we like, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So the idea is that each chart will have a midheaven, clearly, and it will be in a particular sign.
Yeah. It'll always be on the cusp of the 10th house in Placidus houses, or depending if you use a different type of house system, it could be in the 10th or the 9th house.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't think it would ever be in any other house.
It can sometimes be in 8 or 11.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
But who has time? Right. But in general, let's just perhaps talk a little bit about some keywords for the midheaven itself.
Yeah.
What it represents within a chart.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically... It's your public face.
Yes.
It is not just your I like to contrast it with the ascendant, because the ascendant is something that most people know what that means, and that's your actual personality, the face that you immediately people see, your mask, the mask that you wear, the thing that people get the first impression of you. So it's not your core personality, which is the sun, and it's not the deep underbelly of your personality, which people don't really know until they get to know you, which is the moon, is what they see immediately. And then the MC or the midheaven is what people will see in a professional sense. So it's almost like your professional ascendant.
That's a good way of putting it. It's your, how you are in the public domain.
Yeah, your LinkedIn profile. Or
all of that stuff, your reputation.
Your reputation.
And it's also what people know about you in the public before they've met you. Right.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, if you're famous or if you are just well known in some field of expertise that you have, that's that impression. That's that first impression people have of you when they have never even met you.
That's right. It's if you want to, when you Wikipedia somebody, that's the midheaven, isn't it, really?
For sure. Totally, yeah, exactly.
So do we know what your midheaven sign is?
It's Leo.
Oh, is it? Oh, well, that's a good sign to have on the midheaven.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, so here I've got my little dark goth Scorpio rising.
Right.
And then, but the Leo midheaven, it's like, it's all the big hair. It's the...
And when you are out in public, Arwynne, I have to say, I've often been out with Arwynne in public, and she's got a big personality. You're diminutive stature, but a big personality, big smile, big hair.
Big hair, big smile, big
hugs.
Painted lips, big hugs for everybody.
Yes, it's all upbeat. Yeah. It's all very, very Leo. It's so that is your public persona. In business too, I would assume. In your work, you are the positive.
Absolutely. Positive, always with, a joke or like a smiley face emoji or, heart emoji, even if it's not quite appropriate yet, because I don't really know them well, but I like to break the ice. And I do feel that it's really important to, it's not even a bring your whole self to work thing, because that's kind of a cliche of our time, but it's more just like we are all humans. And if we have to work 8 hours a day, like, you know, God damn it, I want you to get to know who I am so we can at least be friendly, you know, on our Zoom calls or whatever.
Well, yes.
For me, it's all remote. It's all just happening through a screen. Yes. And it has been for the last, like, 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I haven't, rarely have I gone into an actual office, like maybe 5-6 times in the last several years.
Wow. But even when you, when you go in public to shows you may put on, and it's show time.
Right.
It's Leo all the way.
Yes.
It's dramatic, colourful, a little exotic even.
Yes.
The type of thing. So it's definitely, you're definitely
hear me roar.
Hear me roar. So because you've got Leo midheaven, therefore the sun is ruling your midheaven, and the sun is in what sign?
Virgo.
In Virgo. Yeah. So there you are.
But in the 10th house as well, which is interesting.
Oh, you see, it's like a double hit there, isn't it?
Yeah. Another thing you wouldn't get if you were doing equal houses or whole sign houses or whatever. Yeah.
The debate rages on.
I'm not going to give up my 10th house on for anything.
No. Wow. But you see it. It's quite visible. And even with, Okay.
I think that's an interesting, you know, because since we're doing this house system, that is going to be probably something that a lot of people have, is that their midheaven is different from the sign that any 10th house planets are in. So if you have significant placements in the 10th house, they might not necessarily be in the same sign as your midheaven.
Yes.
And you might have something that's a really interesting dichotomy where you've got major planets in the 10th house, which represent kind of similar energies to the midheaven. But whereas, like, for me, those are all in Virgo. I've got, you know, the sun, moon, and Mercury all in Virgo in the 10th house, but I've got that Leo midheaven. So I'm bringing two very kind of not conflicting, but very different energies to my work persona, which is like, you know, the incredibly dedicated, responsible, detail-oriented wordsmith, but then also, like, you know, the flashy,
the way
big
you present
smile, big hair, whatever. Yeah. That opens the door.
I'm sure it is so. It's classic. It really is a full use of this energy.
I mean, we would interpret it the same way, even if we were reading a blind chart. But it's hilarious that, like, that is so me. That describes me in a nutshell, like, so well.
It really is. And it's who you are outside, and we're out and about at the town, and women about town, us, you know, and
indeed
things.
Where's your midheaven?
Aries.
Oh, wow. Look at you.
I know. So, yeah. So it took me a long time to lean into that, but it's...
Not a natural bossy pants? Come on.
No. Yeah, it's shoot 'em dead and walk away. I do work better alone. I am far better as a sole entrepreneur, if you will.
Yeah.
Running my own show. I don't need somebody telling me how to do things or where to put, which drawer to put your next XYZ report in.
Not one to be micromanaged.
Well, I will suck it up if I have to, but
won't we all?
You know. Yeah. But in general, I'm far better suited to going it alone, doing my own thing, and knowing where I'm going because it's, you know, and it doesn't always sit with everybody, and I know that. Yeah. And people say, well, you know, what are you doing? I say, I do that. I don't get it, you know.
Bang the door with my head until I get in.
Well, yes, and I just keep going and putting particularly putting the astrology out in my website the way I want it to be. Yeah. You know, I don't want my website to be all stars and mystique and candles and whatnot. Yeah. It's all bright yellow primaries. I'm using the primaries. Yeah.
Yeah, and the information is out there. It's not, you're not coddling anyone. You're not like. This
is how I see it. Yeah. So I'm quite happy to share. And if it vibes with you or whoever the reader, that's great. And if not, move on.
There's plenty of other fish in the sea or sites in the web or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. So because it's you know, Mars is ruling there. And my Mars is in Virgo, which, as we know well, is detail oriented. You know, I try my best. I really do. But so
keywords for Mars. I mean, now that we've gone through the whole digression about
Mars. Yes, I know.
So but it's great that yours is in Aries. So let's do some keywords for midheaven in Aries.
Yeah, so midheaven in Aries is independent business people. It's your startup person. Yeah. It's the person who pioneers the thing and others come behind and shore it up.
Yeah, totally. And like a head starter, someone who may not have the follow through. I mean, this isn't about you, but I'm thinking of
But
some
I have, sorry.
Oh, no, not at all.
No, I do have three irons in the fire, mainly. Although you're only seeing astrology at the moment,
Right.
there are other things that I'm pioneering, and if they take off, I will be behind them.
Yeah.
As my own mini little startups, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly. So it's not a singular kind of like focused kind of energy. It's just let's go.
Irons in the fire. Let me try this, and this. And I've got 3 things that are bubbling under. Astrology is pretty strong, I have to say. It's probably 50% of my effort.
Yeah.
But there are other things I do as well, and they are on their side. But if they tend to pick up, I will get behind them too. So it all just depends.
Yeah, for sure. This is. I'm thinking like. This is a very like tech bro startup kind of energy too. Like
at my kitchen table.
Texas, tech bro, whatever. But yeah, someone who is really good at starting things, really good at just that cardinal energy of whether or not someone's going to follow them, whether or not someone is helping. Let's just get it done. Do it. Do something. Put it out there.
Just get it started. Bring in my peeps, and
I love it.
Do some outreach, do some pioneering work. I particularly, specifically with the astrology, I have done original research all over the years on several different fronts. The Oriental Planet, the Dispositor Tree. This is all original research I've done, and it's and I get behind it and say, this is how I'm doing it, and you can too.
And if you Google Dispositor Tree, you are the first results that come up, for example.
Well, it's original startup, and thinking to yourself, well, there has to be something more to this, and you come across something interesting in astrology, like we were talking the other day about, for instance, the prenatal eclipse. That needs digging into more and being brought forward, because everyone who comes to astrology knows you've got a planet and a sign in the house, and if that's as far as you go, you're missing out all the bells and whistles and the richness that can be part of this. So anyway.
Yeah, for sure. And also, it kind of harkens back to how we met, because it was your idea to begin that meetup.
Right.
That I walked into and was like, are there any other astrologers in Vancouver?
Yeah, and we're talking years ago.
Years ago, like 10-ish years ago.
A whole
now.
Jupiter cycle ago we met, right? A meetup, and I started that thing because
I would never have started because,
why not?
I would never have started something on my own and been like,
that's right, because you got Leo.
Yeah, I want to just barge open the door and be like, I'm here. But I want someone else to invite, have the idea.
So that is exactly the thing. That
bring the enthusiasm.
Yeah, and over the years I've pioneered several. I mean, who has time to talk about what I've tried to do and this and that? But and even today, years in, I'm still saying, well, I'm going to be going down this road. And shall I be doing an online seasonal thing for my paid subscribers? I have said I may. I don't know if I will, but I'm thinking of other ways to present the stuff. For those of you interested in a little more, I'm now offering online astrology seasonal sessions. So there's one session in each of the solar seasonal mid-months, which will be February, May, August and November. I'll be chatting about advanced astrology topics through a Zoom presentation. If you're interested, check out the link for my seasonal sessions in the show notes below. Now back to the episode.
Totally. So if you have areas on the midheaven and you feel like and you're feeling like you're scattering your energies and you don't know where to focus, well, try to think of that as a good thing. Obviously, it is good to focus as well, but not everyone has that startup energy, and that is an incredibly valuable resource. If you have the ambition and the drive and that head first, like, I'll just do this, and if anyone follows me, that's an awesome thing.
That never enters my head, you see. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's awesome. The process of the startup. It's the...
Yeah.
I've got to the point where I've always got a Post-it note in my pocket now, because if I get an idea, it's not really if I get an idea. When I get an idea in the day, I'm going to write a note because I'm thinking, shall I pursue that? This is a good idea. Yeah. And if that Post-it lives for at least 3 days on my desk, it may then move on to my notebook.
Oh, yeah.
And
It'll
it may
graduate.
go from this note, it graduates, and it might then at some point get onto a Word document. And not all do.
Right.
Some things fall by the wayside.
It's like how a bill becomes a law. It's a whole process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of paying attention to what interests me, to be honest, and what I can share with everybody else, because,
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
I love astrology as you do.
Yeah.
And which is what we're talking about now. And therefore, if I could put it across in bite-sized chunks and you can get this and do that.
Yeah.
Start here, do this, 3 steps to the next thing.
Yeah.
That's what I've got. Yeah.
I love that. And it's a really great way to get people interested, because it's like, no, you don't have to swallow the whole ocean. You can just start here.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I...
Because that is always the question. I don't know where to start with the chart reading. I'm overwhelmed with all the clutter. And of course there will be.
And Aries Midheaven is great at knowing where to tell people to start. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you do or you don't, I really don't mind either. That's not going to...
Yeah, no, exactly. It's like, oh, no, then what's fault? No. Well, go on to the next thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the Aries Midheaven, have we said it all?
Yeah.
I think we may have.
All right. So Taurus Midheaven.
Taurus Midheaven.
What do we have to say about that?
Well, this is a more...
Definitely more cautious, I would think.
more cautious, more stabilized, more measured.
Yeah. Yep. More, I wouldn't say materialistic, but definitely more practical.
Yes.
And possibly more materialistic.
Yes.
It's not going to do things just for the hell of it. It's not going to jump into something without thinking about what's in it for me, or how is this going to go, or how's it going to end, or is monetizing, so to speak.
And career-wise too, I think all earth signs, of which Taurus is one, these are the backbone of your workforce. They're quite happy to sit at a desk, put widget A into widget B's box and do that for 30 years.
Yeah.
They're good at that because they're fixed, and there are it's earthy. It's more, when I know what I'm doing, I can do it.
Yes.
But
it's true. My best friend is a teacher. She's been a school teacher for 12, maybe 15 years, 12 years, something like that.
Wow.
Longer. Yeah, she's got 2 teenage kids. She's been a teacher since they were babies. And it's a very...
She's got a Taurus midheaven.
Oh, she's a Taurus.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know the midheaven because birth time. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sadly, unfortunately.
But this is the Taurian thing, that in the career, they're quite happy to go behind, dare I say it, behind the garden and say, let me sort it out. They have the idea that Taurus is the one putting it in place.
Yeah, and very practical, like investing in like land, and investing in investing in something solid, something that's going to accrue, not like gambling with her money.
No.
Investing in something that's always going to appreciate.
Yes.
And we were talking about that just the other day. And the interesting thing about being a teacher is that you can't just, especially in Canada, where we don't have charter schools, we don't have a lot of privates. There are some, but you're basically locked in. Like once you're a teacher,
you're on track.
You're not going to take all those skills and be like, well, I'll just go to some other company. No, you're you're in the school system.
Yes.
So
and it's a comfortable place to be.
It's very comfortable, especially if you like the benefits and the
summers off.
Yeah, exactly. Summer and and the vacation days and all that stuff, and getting done by like 3:30 or whatever.
Wow, this is it.
It's a life lifetime thing. Like you're not going to probably suddenly mid career be like, oh, I better transfer these skills to something else. No. So that's an example of something that's very a Taurian kind of pursuit. Something that you're going to lock into it. You're going to do your absolute best on that track.
Yes.
And that's how you prefer to do things in the public realm.
Yes.
Is not spreading your stuff too
randomly
or
all over the place. Yeah.
Which brings us to the Gemini midheaven.
The Gemini,
which
exactly.
is a little bit the opposite of the Taurus midheaven, I would think.
They're all over the place.
Totally.
Yeah, I think this is someone they typically always have more than one job. So they've got the day job in the week, they've got the weekend job, and they've got the monthly whatever it is, and
side
hustles going on, multiple income streams from career, multiple careers perhaps even going on at the same time, and they'd like the variety of that.
Yeah.
That that's the Gemini thing in general, that they do like the variety. I know a woman who around here, and she's got 3 jobs.
Yeah.
She's got the day job, she's got the part-time weekend job, and then she's got the regular, like, semi-weekend job. And I'm thinking, how do you do it?
Yeah.
oh, well, I like to keep busy, and then I meet new people and blah, blah, blah. And then there's a different group here and a different group there. And I'm thinking, but that's what they want.
Yeah.
That interest, the variety and the flexibility, I think.
Flexibility. And also, let's not mince words. They do get bored easily.
Yes.
That Gemini energy is a fickle...
It's a fickle thing.
Yeah.
It's here, there, and everywhere, right?
Yeah. But which is actually kind of great in today's gig economy, and with technology changing so quickly, the Gemini midheaven may be uniquely suited to multitasking.
I can't do it.
No. Yeah, it's just I'd like a multitasker to tell me what they need me to do, and then I can just do it awesomely. Yeah, please.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what about Cancer midheavens?
Yeah.
Wow. So Cancer is, of course, a cardinal sign. So these are the leaders, and generally, I always say that Cancers lead from behind.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are setting people up ahead of them. They don't need to be in the spotlight.
Yeah.
But they will put people up forward, but they're coming from behind and managing the situation.
Yeah.
So perhaps creating the base from which others are able to launch themselves or front for them.
Yeah. Yeah. A very supportive partner for sure. Or like a CFO as opposed to the CEO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's probably the person who owns the land that the business is sitting on, but not the business itself.
Right.
Because they're very big on real estate. They're very big on restaurants.
Yeah.
And that's the Cancer in general, right?
Yeah, totally. The food and the land and the resources.
Yeah. And sitting here, I'm thinking, none of that interests me. I would never want to own a restaurant, but people do.
Yeah.
And they generally are the Cancerians who have restaurants and so on.
Interesting.
Hospitality and
come
and be home with us or hotels.
Yeah. I mean, it's a huge industry.
Yeah,
great.
I know.
Yeah.
But we're not in that, are we?
No.
Food and beverage. No, that's Cancer. Food and beverage is Cancer.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And also with...
Or your mixologists even.
It's not always going to be true, but it's often Libra ascendant. So that is a very gregarious and friendly and charming aspect to have on, not aspect in the astrology sense, but
combination.
Yeah, exactly. So you got the charm and then making you feel at home as your career.
It's mine host, isn't that what it was? And things like that.
Yeah.
It's just, and it is the difference between going to one restaurant where they make you feel welcome, and going into one where they say, take a seat anyway. And you say, okay,
right.
You want to feel welcome, so Cancerians are good at that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So I think we've
hashed out Leo midheaven a big time. All right,
Virgo
midheaven.
Do we know anyone with a Virgo midheaven? I do not.
I know
but
what would that be on the ascendant? That would be Sagittarius,
yeah. So I think the Virgo midheaven type person is someone who is, when I learned astrology, this was the sign of the secretary and the typist. It's the Miss Moneypenny.
Right.
She is the worker bee behind the throne of the main act. It's not someone who is the main act generally. It's someone who is the supporting act or the assistant or something in that way, where they are providing either services or products that support others, but not necessarily pioneering themselves.
And it could still be a very powerful position in a corporate structure. I mean, this could be your head of operations, for example.
Or accounting. The details.
Anything that's about details and keeping the business running properly.
Yes.
It's not going to be the CEO who's out there doing all of the podcasts and the TED Talks and all that stuff. It's going to be the person who's actually making sure that everything runs properly and you don't get sued and all that.
Exactly. It could even be your lawyer or someone like that, or your accountant who just knows by looking at the numbers where the whole business is going.
And what you can get away with and what you can't, and what needs to be above board and transparent and dotting all the I's and crossing the T's and all those god awful Excel spreadsheets that.
The Virgos love it. And what's this notion thing? I don't know. I don't get that either. It seems to be, I know.
I've never even heard of that.
Well, it's something, and they say it's a productivity tool. I'm thinking, you Virgo, you.
Oh, that makes my neck hurt thinking
about it. I know. Let's measure your productivity.
I'm a Virgo, but I'm hashtag not that Virgo.
Yeah. So it's that kind of thing. But this is the person who's going to be good at measuring other people's productivity as well.
Yeah.
And so, there's a lot to it. It's, of course, Mercury's there too. So it's the chitty-chatty, it's the HR person as well, I think, as well.
Yeah. Yeah, nice.
All right, then. What about Libra?
Yeah.
Do we know anyone with a Libra ascendant? I mean, midheaven.
Not
off the top of my head. No, I know. So the Libra ascendant is your schmooze person.
Yeah.
If they do their own business, it's usually in aesthetics, hairdressing, anything to tailoring, what have you, making you look good, feel good, sound good.
Yeah.
Present yourself well.
Yeah.
It's your public relations department.
Yeah.
It's the go and sort them out and buy them off and this sort of thing. And
media, like PR consulting kind of thing.
Yes, they're very good on the social skills, on the chit chat, and the sending you to hell, and you think you're looking forward to the trip
and all of that. Exactly.
Yes,
making sure the company always looks good and isn't, no scandals and controversy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a great place for people like hairdressers or anyone in the beauty business.
And that would also put Capricorn on the ascendant. So for sure, very practical, down to earth, and by the books kind of person.
Yeah. And I think they have beautiful offices and beautiful. Yeah. Everything's just aesthetically pleasing with Libra, right?
Very minimal and stark.
Yeah.
Lovely, cold and beautiful.
Yeah. So what about Scorpio?
Scorpios.
Midheaven. Do we know anyone with a Scorpio midheaven?
No,
we don't know these people.
Maybe, because I'm thinking, okay, so that's
your partner's midheaven.
Cancer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And he's in hospitality.
He is, and he's very charming, and he makes a mean drink, and he makes
steak.
Amazing steaks. Oh my God. Yeah. Yes.
Where were we?
We were at
Scorpio.
Midheaven, which is also Aquarius ascendant.
Yes.
So I might know some people.
So to me, people with Scorpio ascendant really have businesses and careers that you don't hear about.
Yeah.
They're going on in the background. They're not high profile yelling from the streets.
Yeah.
They are working on areas that we don't necessarily always see.
Yeah. Or areas that we are glad exist, but most people don't want to be involved in them.
Like funeral homes?
Homes, hospice care.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
Surgery,
yeah. Veterinary care. All these things
all
that are
spies.
Like you don't want to have to know about it until you need it. And then you're very glad someone is there who can handle it for you.
Yes. We don't have who's your undertaker? We don't have that person, do we? But we do have a hairdresser, right? Yeah.
And so and also like plumbing and things like that, where it's like, you don't notice it until it doesn't work, and then
if you need a plumber, get a Scorpio.
Yeah.
In our previous house, we had this guy who used to come in and fix the plumbing, basically, and we were redoing a bathroom, and there was this toilet thing that had to be dealt with.
Yeah.
And he's talking to me passionately about flush levels, and I'm thinking, oh my God, he's the right man for the job, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because they were worried about the flow and the da-da-da-da and this and that. And I'm thinking,
just thank God
just
someone
fix
can do that.
it,
Yeah.
But you do want someone who's passionate about what they're doing. And again, if you come to the end of life and you're having to deal with those times, or even the beginning of life, to be honest, the neonatal stuff,
100%.
That's your surgeon. You want someone who knows what they're doing when they've got that knife in your hand. But I don't want to know what he's actually going to do, but I want to know that he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So
it's like those dental clinics where they actually will show you a video as they're doing the. I don't want to see that. Like put on an episode of anything. I'd like to listen to my podcast, close my eyes, and shut the world out when I'm in the dentist chair. My God.
I know.
Yeah. That could be a good position for dental surgeons. Yeah. Because who but someone with Scorpio on the midheaven and Aquarius on the ascendant could ignore the cries of pain and just do what they have to do and be like, just hold on a minute longer. This will hurt. Or no, what do they say? You'll feel a bit of pressure.
Oh yeah.
They always say that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all you want to do is get out of there.
Yeah.
Let's get out of there.
Just another few minutes.
Oh, well, this is how we experience it, Arwynne.
Yeah. There we go.
So then moving on to Sagittarius.
Yeah.
So this is going to be, to me, this is Airbnb.
Oh.
Where it's all about travel.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their chance to get in on the market, and there's many different types of things. I don't know if we've gone bust in the meantime, but anyway, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Expedia.
Yeah.
Let's get out there. Let's click here now, and we'll save you $50.
But also Wikipedia. And
the
Also
knowledge.
yeah, exactly. The Wayback Machine, all of those things where it's like you're gathering human knowledge, you're disseminating it for the people. The law libraries, where they're putting all of that information out there for you to, as a citizen, as just a normal person, to be able to understand it and grasp it. The
knowledge, the professors,
democratizing the knowledge and the legal information and the global, what's that called? Atlas Obscura, where it's like all of these beautiful places that you may never get to see, and these, the Meteora monasteries in Greece, like, oh wow, or these amazing salt flats, and you're like, where's that? And there's the lithium mines in somewhere in South America, and you're like, why is it pink? It's fabulous, and you would never know if not for some amazing person with Sagittarius on the midheaven going, I think people need to see this.
The National Geographic photographer.
Yes, of course, exactly.
Go, what's it called, that place I've been reading about? Göbekli Tepe or something in Turkey?
Göbekli Tepe.
I
know all about it. I know it well. Yeah.
Interesting.
I've nerded out down that rabbit hole a lot.
Wow. It's like, and what's happening now with the ice melting in the Arctic, where things are being
unearthed, and methane pockets are bubbling up,
bodies and whatnot, and tools and so on.
I wonder if Joe Scott has this on the midheaven. Yeah, I follow him. He's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's not your average Joe working in a cubicle. No.
No, this is someone who wants to bring democratizing knowledge, democratizing the law,
the travelers,
bringing it all to the masses, explaining how to do this or that.
Yeah.
If you want to live in. If you've ever traveled and Googled, or looked up on not Instagram, what's the word? YouTube. Yeah. If you've ever gone like, okay, what do I do when I'm a traveler into this, Thailand or however?
Yes.
And you'll see all these great videos like, the 20 things you need to know, the 10 things you have to see.
What to pack.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, exactly. When you go to such and such. Yeah, this is that. Yeah, I love that.
Sagittarius, you never know where they're going to go, and they're off the grid for a while.
Yeah.
Interesting.
For sure. My best friend's brother is off to Philippines for like 3 weeks.
Really?
He's always traveling. Oh, no. Always.
You see, it's not me, it's not you, is it? Yeah.
No, I love the idea of it, but it's like, wow.
I know. I'm an armchair traveler, if anything.
Yeah. I mean, I want to go some places, like once or twice a year, maybe. It's a goal. But then it's like, I always panic when I'm traveling.
So do I. I don't travel well.
Yeah.
I don't travel well.
Yeah.
So then let's have a look at
Capricorn.
This is the classic 10th house ruler. It's your corporate, hierarchical. I always think Warren Buffett at this point. It's the guys in the suits, the men in black.
Totally.
Working their way up the corporate ladder, VP of XYZ.
Yeah. The ones who are like 87 years old, still sharp as a tack, still running the thing. And
But even if you're young, you're going to want to build your empire.
Yeah.
Build your dynasty in the workforce.
Yeah.
You're not
going to put up with like silly, partners who are just like, who can't commit to this or that. You really have to choose your partners carefully, I would think.
I think they're business. I think they're good business people.
Yeah.
And they follow the rules. They know
right. It's that exactly.
The SEC and all of those. And
it's not the super, dynamic pioneering, the one that's doing the TED Talks. It's the one that's just, the Warren Buffett one, where it's not glamorous.
But we get there. We get the job done. They're established. They've got money in the bank. They're getting there. Yeah, it's We need all of the signs, really. We need this combination, don't we? It would be awful if we're all just the same person.
Totally. What stocks would we invest in if not for this Capricorn?
Exactly.
We can't all be risk takers. Yeah.
No. Imagine.
God forbid.
Yeah. All right, then moving on to
Aquarius.
Moving on to Aquarius. Yeah. So, Aquarius on the midheaven, astrologer.
Astrologer, or technologist.
A computer wizard.
Activist.
Or activist.
Yeah.
someone who's going to shake things up.
Yep. Innovation.
Change things.
Disruption.
I don't know if Elon Musk has this, but it's that sort of person who just does it.
Yeah.
And he may not make everyone happy, but, you know.
And that's going to put Aries on the ascendant. So, yeah, for sure.
So these are your innovators. They are the Doc Brown, that sort of person, you know, who is coming up with new ideas. They're not going to be, again, not want to be stuck in a cubicle. They won't last.
They're not going to have a lot of patience for the corporate ladder and the HR telling them this or that is appropriate or not appropriate, whatever.
None of that. Yeah. So it's going to be to new things, new ideas, and good things for humanity.
Yeah.
Greenpeace, all of these things.
Yeah. NASA.
Pardon?
NASA.
Yeah. NASA, of course.
Yeah.
And of course, astrologers. It's always a great place to open an astrology business. If you happen to be an astrologer and you've got an Aquarius on the midheaven, well, say no more.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's fringe stuff that isn't mainstream. The mainstream stuff was the Capricorn, but Aquarius really is fringe, I think, and doing things differently, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Then we get to our friends Pisces on the midheaven. So here we've got a different view altogether. It's a softer look. These are likely to have careers in,
Petunian.
Yeah.
Compassion. Fishing.
Anything spiritual.
Yeah, creative.
Yes. Again, it's not a pioneering role. It's more of a supportive role.
Yeah, and it's not the crafting, the Virgo kind of creativity. It's more like the ballet or the theater or makeup artist or
the magician, David Copperfield.
Watercolor painting. Magician. I love that. Magician.
Yes. Your crystal ball readers up here now. Yeah. And it's a gentle placement. It's someone who may, if you took them on as an employee, maybe there for a few weeks and then they just drift away and you never know what happened. It's kind of because they don't feel compelled to, conform.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, interesting. And also, since Cancer is most likely going to be on the ascendant, this is going to be someone who the relationships and the feeling comfortable at work are going to be more important to them than, did I do the right, did I follow the right path up to the leadership level and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So if they do become a CEO or something like that, it's probably going to be something independently creative
artists,
or
musicians,
or something
all of these
in
people.
The compassion area.
Yeah. You see it all the time of artists who've been, painting away in their basement for 30 years, and finally they hit it. It's that sort of person who's just got creativity, I think, coming out of them. It just oozes out of them, but they're not pushing. Yeah, they're not pushing that Aries.
They need a brother or something who has that Capricorn on the midheaven who can, be the Teo to their Vincent, so to speak.
Well, the same business. You need two people in business. You need the bastard and the dreamer.
Nice. And there you go. This is the dreamer. I love that.
This is the dreamer. It 100%. Really is. And they.
Yeah. I love that. That's beautiful.
So, clearly there are multiple roles in all of these signs that we've spoken about, let's face it. But in general.
Yeah. And your midheaven may have any, make aspects to your chart, and the ruler of the midheaven could make different aspects. That's always super important. So you may be looking at your chart and going, well, that doesn't relate to me whatsoever. Well, maybe your midheaven isn't aspected to anything, and you have all sorts of other career-oriented indicators in your chart that are more important.
Yeah.
But,
if you've got no planets in the 10th house as well, that does tend to...
Right.
It's just not so on the front burner with you. But if you do have planets, as you do, you've got the 3 there. Yeah. It's, it's a thing that you are constantly applying your mind to in one way or another.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. So I don't know. It's an interesting thing. As you say, if we put it as the quadruplicity, that would be an interesting way, because then I'm just saying the ascendant would then be Leo, Scorpio, Aries, and you would be Virgo, Scorpio, Leo, and it's we do mesh our charts very well, actually. So very interesting thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so we've gone through each of the 12 signs and when they are on the midheaven position. We've given some of our opinions. We've shared some of our own chart details, which is always interesting to keep the conversation going. So if you found value in this episode, please do consider sharing it with anybody who would be interested, and make sure that you're getting our newsletter, and you can sign up at starzology.com/newsletter. Please make sure that you're following Arwynne, and you can find her at...
I am at mspink.net. That's mspink.net, and I send out a weekly newsletter every Saturday, and I blog about art and books and whatever interests me at the time. Yeah, it's a good read.
It's a good read, absolutely. Make sure you're on Arwynne's list. So if you would like to send us a message and you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, click on the top link. You can send us a text message straight away with either one of your questions about astrology or some comments about the episode we just did. Please make sure to leave your name there and perhaps the city where you're writing in from. That's always good to know. So, Arwynne, I'd like to say, well, thank you so much for joining me here once more.
Thank you so much. This has been great. And thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Thanks so much for getting this far through the episode. I just want to take a moment to tell you about the two main options of my astrology services. So the first one is coaching. If you are an aspiring astrologer, and by that I mean someone who's perhaps a hobbyist astrologer or someone who's learning astrology or a student, or you've got a few books and you've been doing it for a while, but perhaps you need a little bit of help to bring it all together, then maybe getting some astrological coaching from me would be the answer for you. The astrology coaching I offer is a 1-hour session on Zoom, and it's tailored to answer your particular questions. For example, if you have issues with natal chart readings, we can go there, or if you're having problems working with your forecasting, we can go there. Or even basic astrology stuff, or even getting yourself organized for your astrology business. The idea is that astrological coaching will answer your particular questions. It's tailored specifically to you and where you are in your astrological journey. And I'm happy to help you out with some guidance about how you can get going, what to focus on, and what to dismiss. So that would be the astrological coaching for people trying to learn astrology. The second astrological service I offer is consultations. So this is for someone who perhaps doesn't know anything about astrology, but they just want to have their chart read or get their chart done. Call it what you will. So once more, this is a 1-hour consultation over Zoom. I will interpret your chart, tell you about the main features, tell you about where the energy is flowing, and all the rest of what is entailed in a thorough natal chart interpretation. I can also add in some forecasting in there too, bearing in mind we only have 1 hour. So just in summary, I've got coaching for people who want to learn astrology, and I've got consultations for those who want to get an astrology reading done. I'm Alison Price from Starzology.com. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.